Good morning, everyone. I woke up this morning thinking about the very first story in the book of Genesis, one of the creation stories where the Spirit of God is hovering above the waters. In the ancient world, the waters, the sea, were a sign of chaos. Chaos, of course, produces fear and anxiety. And yet, in the very first story in the Bible, we hear that the Spirit of God is present even in those places where fear and anxiety are produced. I think about our current situation. Obviously, it's chaos. Nobody, including myself, really knows what we're supposed to be doing. There's fear, there's anxiety, and yet we believe as people of faith that God is present in the midst of all of this. And I have a great example that happened on Sunday morning. On Sunday, we were supposed to have this wonderful worship service. Young people were going to be receiving communion for the first time. New members were joining the church. We had great special music, and perhaps most best of all, our bishop was coming. So finally, the people of United Lutheran were going to hear a good sermon. It was going to be a fantastic day. And then, of course, we had to cancel worship. As a result, there was a part of me that felt like somehow we had made a huge mistake, that somehow that people weren't going to be aware that the grace and love of God was surrounding them in the midst of this situation. And then a funny thing happened. I got a call from one of those First Communion families. Their family was still gathering together. They wondered if maybe, just maybe, I would be willing to come and bring First Communion to their daughter. And so I showed up at Grandma's house, and I went inside, and I talked with the family, and we said the words of institution. We prayed the Lord's Prayer together, and then I gave this little girl, Eliana Corey, communion for the first time. But it gets better than that. After I gave her communion, she took the chalice, and together we went around to her family, to the people who had formed her and shaped her and love her unconditionally. And she was able to speak the words, "The blood of Christ shed for you." Now, it's not what we had anticipated happening on Sunday morning. When I imagined First Communion, it looked very, very different. But in the midst of this chaotic situation, the grace of God was revealed in this person for this family. Here's my invitation to you this day, is to look around at the world you see. Don't look for what you expect or what you're accustomed to, but instead look for the places in which you see the grace of God shining in and around you. And then point it out to others. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye-bye.